7:01 p.m. This is the Wednesday, January 28, 2015 Finance Committee meeting. On the agenda for tonight, we have budget reviews with the Town Treasurer, Parks Department, Board of Health, and Payroll Benefits. We're going to discuss for the FY16 budget the Capital Planning Committee approvals, Ayer Regional School District assessment, and then we'll touch upon the non-union compensation study. We have minutes on the agenda, but we will forego those in the essence of time. So at this point, I'd like to invite Ms. Gittner to come down, the Town Treasurer, and walk us through her budget for fiscal year 16. And I did take a breath in between all of that.
It's okay. We don't have to breathe between talking. We can get out of here.
How are you this evening, Ms. Gittner?
Oh, I'm fine.
Thank you for coming out on a sloppy evening.
Oh, you're welcome. That's all right. Okay, I have, I noticed on this that there was an error on the, one of them. And then I have, this is updated on the unemployment.
So the one in the book is no good?
I'm sorry, what?
Sorry, one in the book is no good, right?
Correct. And I've just filled in the blanks on that you didn't get.
There's two there.
Thank you. And this supersedes the one that's in the booklet already?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't know what happened, but Excel didn't add that line 24 on J24. It didn't add it up right.
Okay.
It was like 64, and now it's 69, 59.
Yeah.
And does this replace the one in the book also?
Yes, because I filled in the check number. And maybe the date.
Oh, I see. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I couldn't figure out what was missing. All right. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Okay. So if you want to just kind of walk us through your budget for requests for FY16, and if there's anything for FY15 you're concerned about, we can have that conversation at this point in time also, since you're here with us. Okay.
Okay.
I'll turn it over to you.
Well, pretty much I have level funded it as I have in the last few years. I don't know what else you want me to say.
Okay, I'll ask a couple of questions. So the treasurer, the salary line item is a 2% increase?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the treasurer and the clerk collector was on the non-union compensation study. Personnel board is still working through the final pieces of that study to get that over to the Board of Selectmen. Hopefully it will be done in the next week or so, so we can start the process. So that may impact that, but I also want to kind of say that as an elected official, it's kind of your time through this process to, I guess, be involved. And once we get final numbers, we'll make sure that you and the clerk collector have that. Okay. So the big jump in supplies from last year.
The big jump?
Yeah. No, sorry. I was reading the wrong column. Sorry about that.
What types? Refresh my memory, if you don't mind, Stephanie. What kind of things roll through the other charges? The line 18.
That one. There was that $2,500 for my new desk that's included in that, so I have reduced that.
That's what the jump was. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's number 2 in the explanation.
And you did get a new desk?
I did.
Excellent. How is it?
Great.
Awesome.
I have to get a new pad for it because it's like...
Slow down.
Yeah, hey.
Those are, I don't know,
Bits
20
and
bucks
bits
or
and pieces at a time.
No, it's just a little black pad that, makes it smooth right on.
And with the level funding services and supplies and office supplies, you still feel that's an adequate level to run the office on your day-to-day operations?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. All right.
I don't have any others on this one.
No, it's very straightforward. Any questions, Paula?
Nope.
Okay. All right, so we can move on to the next line item in your responsibility. Tax title foreclosure. So level funded from FY15, still feel that's adequate?
Yes.
Okay. How much do we have in tax title right now?
Probably about 300,000,
100,000?
400,000, maybe. We have some things that are gonna be paid off, soon, hopefully.
How many payment plans, and just a number of how many payment plans you have, that you have agreements with?
Probably about 5 that are actually faithfully paying on
Okay.
them, but I have a few others that haven't been paying on theirs.
Any questions?
Yeah, what are we doing with the ones that aren't paying? Are we proceeding with any collection action?
Yeah, one is going to land court. That was a big one.
Okay.
And February 5th, they'll go to land court.
When the clerk collector was here, I asked a question about posting past due. You have to do the, I don't know if it's a 30-day notice before anything can be turned over to the treasurer to put into tax title. Have you got a current list for this year yet, do you know?
No, I have only up to 13. She hasn't given me anything for 14 yet.
Okay, so nothing for FY14?
Right.
Thank you.
No other questions on tax title?
No, not from me, Scott.
Okay. Next is retirement of debt, and I know that's a pending, so that's the principal payments on all of our outstanding bonds, correct?
Actually, Lisa does these, even though I know they're under the treasurer. But she does all of this financial work on these, that and the interest.
Gotcha.
Okay, we'll follow up with her for a time frame.
I did request a schedule from her of what's coming off the debt schedule. It seems to be a popular idea that the police station is paid for this year. I've just never
The
actually seen it
Yeah,
come over from the
it
county.
should be.
FY17, I
Just
think.
we just wanted to marry it with this year's capital request to see what comes off.
Yeah.
So as soon as I get it, I'll forward it out to you guys.
Yeah,
At least it's trending in the right direction.
Yes.
So last year, this year.
All right, so the interest is pending, as we just said.
retirement and pension contribution.
I've gotten the figures, these are the ones they sent me, so if they change them, I don't know about it yet. Fiscal 16 is the 1.3 million, and then in fiscal 17 is the 1.4.
Okay.
And that's the actual,
Yeah, that's the
Contribution.
actual, what, as they sent it to me. So if they make a change on it, I'm sure they'll let me know, and then I can let you know if there's a change. But right
Okay.
now, this is what it is.
That, just for my clarification, Stephanie, that 1.3 million we're talking about for 16, that's amounts withheld from employees' checks like a 401k?
No, this is our county retirement.
And they assess us
So-
based on our not our population, our employees and former employees. I just don't understand where the money comes from.
Budget, it's just a
We-
line.
It's just a straight expense. It's not something we withheld and then push forward. Okay.
Plus,
We fund it every year, right?
I think I ask this question every year, probably too. This is very different than what I'm used
Everybody
to.
does, so don't worry
We
about it.
pay some of it,
Mhm.
and then the town pays this amount here.
So this is separate of any employee contributions. Okay.
Well, yeah, it might include the employee contributions. It's just an assessment that they give us, so.
Okay.
We don't have any input into it. The county tells us. Even though we have no county government, the county tells us how much we pay in retirement and pension, which is.
They're very good at doing that.
I call it county retirement, but they're
But it is-
really
that's-
Middlesex retirement system, but I call it county retirement.
Everybody does that too, but
Yeah.
I wonder when OPEB kicks in, if it ever does, if this money wouldn't go there.
No.
Well, you can actually use
They're
OPEB
separate.
to pay for this. That's part of, I guess, the new methodology that they're trying to get
Mm.
towns to buy into.
I've got it backwards. I said it backwards, but I know
Yeah,
what
so
I
if you
meant.
put money aside for OPEB into an OPEB account, you can
Can use
use,
it
you
for
could,
this
yeah,
to
you could
offset.
actually withdraw every year to pay these amounts. It's not just the future liabilities that
It's
you can
current
utilize
as
it
well.
for, it's the current ones too, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Perhaps we should have only scheduled 10 minutes or so. I think I've been doing this for too long. I don't have as many questions as I did 4 or 5 years ago.
It does get easier, doesn't it?
Unemployment compensation?
Yes, I would level funded that as well.
Okay.
That other sheet I gave you, this is, I've been keeping track of this one person who is collecting unemployment. And, yeah, I think that there's another $7,300 that, no, that's what she's paid. What was paid to this person.
So this is the
Yeah.
one that we went to a reimbursable method. So therefore,
Correct,
if we have any employees that are collecting, we just pay that directly?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's 33,283.80 since the last payment to them was made, so that's, I'll be getting another bill from them soon. So,
Okay.
actually I have it, and it goes, it's weird because they do like 2 months instead of like the first of 1 month to the end of the other, and but the next payment is $1,460
So for this one employee,
for,
they're eligible, if I'm reading this correctly, 10,950 for unemployment?
yes, that would be,
Okay. And that's one employee?
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
'Cause that
I
doesn't-
might not be looking at the right page because
No, would be this here.
this page.
The new one that just was
Yeah,
handed out,
Sorry,
correct?
sorry,
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Because I didn't see 10,000 on the sheet I was looking at.
Yeah, up at the top.
I see now. So this change from contributing to reimbursing is something that's over my head because that happened a couple years ago.
What
But
we,
we don't
No,
need to go into.
It just happened last year. You can please feel free to explain it again so we
what
all
we
understand.
used to do all these many years is we would take a certain percentage of the payroll, and that's what we'd have to pay. And whenever anyone was collecting unemployment, it would kind of, money would go into a bucket for the whole state.
So
And
out of everybody's paycheck, a certain amount of money was put into
no, the
this.
total of our payroll,
Mhm,
I would
okay.
have to send a report
Gotcha.
every quarter,
Okay,
and a certain percentage of that
was set aside for unemployment.
was put in this bucket, and anyone in the reimbursable contributory their unemployment would come out of that bucket throughout the whole state. It was for, the bucket was for everyone
Mhm.
on that method. But I figured out that we were paying, I don't know, I think it was like 100 and something thousand, or it just was too much.
Mhm.
So I changed it to reimbursable last January, a year ago.
Okay.
And for the first 5 months, we didn't have anyone. And then we got this person at the end of June.
Gotcha.
So
So now that's freeing up cash for us, obviously, if we're not giving it all to the state.
right, I think what was it, like 10,000 that we cut it down by?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
reduced by 10,000. And we were
Excellent.
looking at the actuals, FY12 was 22,000, FY13 was 28, FY14 was 25, then yeah, we cut 10,000 for last year's budget. I guess my only concern looking at this schedule compared to what we have budgeted, so this one individual is going to eat up 70% of the allocated budget
Mhm.
that we have. I'm just curious, I'm just concerned if that's actually enough.
If we should-
Not that we're looking to lay people, to get rid of people, but just want to preface it by saying that. But if we were to ever have, say, 2 employees going at the same time, it would definitely be a reserve fund transfer. But it's your budget line, so we'll leave it up to you to
Yeah.
make that final decision on the leveling.
Well, at
Yeah,
least-
I'm sorry, if that happened, I would let you know.
Okay.
And at least someone who would go on unemployment would be unexpected.
Yeah.
We
That's
wouldn't do it at budget time.
right.
Exactly.
Plan
Right.
it, so.
All right. Any other questions on unemployment?
Not on this one, no.
Okay. So that's the whole packet. I think I've been doing this for way too long.
That was easy.
Any questions or concerns you have regarding the FY15 budget? Anything you see coming in odd compared to the funding from last year?
I don't expect
No?
anything
Okay.
odd, but you never know.
Well,
You always have those things that come in unexpected.
yeah, like 3 days after the DPW superintendent says, "Oh, this year hasn't been that bad for snow
We
removal."
get 4 feet of
They get
snow.
3 feet of snow. And that is a direct quote.
And you never say anything like that, because it always happens.
It's like being at a hockey game and saying, "Oh, look, we're ahead 3-1."
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could blink and you lose.
Any other questions for the treasurer?
Not for tonight, nope.
Pauline, any other
No,
questions?
good. Thank you,
No.
Stephanie.
I'm all set. Thank you very much for coming down on a sloppy, cold night. Appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
I hope you didn't walk down the hill.
Oh, no. Yeah, that was
Me either
cold.
tonight.
All right, up next is Parks Department. Representative from the Parks, come on down.
Thank you.
It's Dan, correct?
Yeah.
Hi, Dan, how are you?
Thanks.
Pretty sure it's not, I thought we might have got another free ride tonight, but
How's everyone doing this evening?
good. How you doing?
Doing well, thanks. So thanks for coming. What we're gonna ask you to do is just walk us through your budget that you're requesting for FY16. I do see that you did include also the questionnaire for the forecasting. We can go over that afterwards if that's okay. We'll go through the budget first. If there's anything for FY15 that you want to talk to us about while you're here, feel free to do that also. And I'll turn it over to either of you to walk us through.
Okay, well, a couple things right off the bat. When we were asked to put this in, the instructions called for us to, if we could level fund it, so that's pretty much what we did. We just put it
Okay.
level funded. So that doesn't represent some of the things that we think we should change
Okay.
for it.
Okay.
The biggest two we've discussed with you before, and that's for the 2 line items for the lifeguards and the assistants. Both of those are going to be affected by the increase in minimum wage that's just come in. So as we discussed before and asked for recommendations from you folks last year, and we've debated with some other folks and internally with the commission, our preferred way to deal with it is to basically elevate all of the seasonal employees on a par with the raise in minimum wage. So as minimum wage has been increased $1, we would like to increase all of our seasonal employees' wages $1. Most of those are partial to that. Our starting minimum wage, or starting wage for both the maintenance
Okay.
position and lifeguard positions are $10 an hour, which is above the current minimum wage right now. But part of that, especially for the lifeguards, includes training, which they have to pay
Yeah.
for themselves to get. So that is part of that.
Yeah, we did touch upon that last year, and I think the consensus of the committee at that point was, because there is training involved, et cetera, that they should be elevated along with the minimum wage. So like you said, if it's a $1 increase to minimum wage, then their salary should just increase $1, so that they at least keep pace, because there's an additional expense they have to go through in order to have these positions.
Yeah. And so I'm glad to hear that. So we're all on the same page with what we think the philosophy should be with that.
Okay.
Part of the extra funding that you allowed us to have for FY15, the $10,000, some of that, we can talk about that later, is we'd like to go, toward that if we are going to make that increase to finish out this fiscal year. But as far as the increase for that, just to kind of round it off, what we'd like to do is increase both of those figures by 10%, because that would basically be about the difference that it would be, is about a 10% raise for most of those people, thereabouts. So for the maintenance figure, a 10% raise to that, by my calculations, was to put that at $12,840.
That's, on here, it's called the assistant?
Yeah, the assistant line, correct?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So 12,000 more?
$12,840.
Okay.
And for the lifeguards, $33,362.
So maintenance received $10 an hour also, is that what I heard you say?
Yes.
Okay.
For starting wage. Several employees have, of course, received bumps over the years, depending on their longevity. And the final figure for that came to, for the final line item, I believe, was $120,286. So that's our proposal. That's the
Okay.
only changes that we had in mind from the current thing. The only other exception would be to the director's wage, which is always pending based on negotiations.
Okay.
But that was currently listed as level funded.
All right. And on the director wages, that's a non-union position, correct?
It is.
Okay,
It
okay.
is.
So that's subject to COLAs and steps.
Right.
Okay. Given the, because I always drive by, for example, I know Peroni, I haven't been to Peroni Park because my kids are all over at the middle school now, so we
Yeah.
drive to Shirley for our soccer, but I know that Peroni Park's always incredibly busy, and also the beach is always very busy. Still have a ample enough staff size to run everything?
Well, Dan, I don't know your thoughts on that. I thought that we're in pretty good shape with that.
Yeah, I think the maintenance, we have 4 part-timers right now, so
Okay.
as long as we don't pick up any more work. I know we've talked with other people in town about taking on more responsibilities in town, mowing different
Okay.
areas of town hall and stuff, so if that were to happen, we might need
Okay.
more people, but
Yeah. But for the upcoming
Yeah,
fiscal
for the up
year,
to- yeah, upcoming
there
fiscal
shouldn't be
year.
any need for anything else to increase in terms
Okay.
of part-time or seasonal employees. The staff for the lifeguard seems adequate for what we've been doing. We have increased it over the last 3 or 4 years because we've increased our swim season. And maybe at some point we wouldn't want to increase that all the way to, what we currently do is we open on Memorial Day and open for weekends. And then we start opening up for around mid-June to go all the way through the summer. We always run into a little bit of issue at least one day or two where it's June 1st and it's 90 degrees and it's a Wednesday and people want to come out, and it's,
Yeah.
well, what do we do? So that's kind of a tough one, and sometimes we can staff, sometimes we can't, but then at the same time, we have many days that no one's gonna come out because it's just not, so it's cost prohibitive for us to do it, so we've considered, trying to maybe push that up a little more, but for now, I think we're in great shape.
All right, great. That's good. So that's all I have on the operating budget. Any other questions on just the operating budget itself?
As we just said to Stephanie, I've done this so many times now, I know what your lines are, you know?
We even know when you need a lawnmower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is funny to talk about lifeguards when you look out the window.
Yeah. That's just a sheet.
We
It's
were
really
working down the
not-
beach today. We were down there.
Yeah. How's the rink?
It's
I was
clear.
thinking it's clear.
It's clear.
Yeah.
Cleared it off.
It's cold.
It's actually good. It's good shape.
Do you want to walk us through, so last year we allocated an extra $10,000 for some of the projects that you had mentioned to us, and you want to walk us through what some of those
Sure.
funds went
So
to?
we have not actually used any of that allocation yet because the biggest project we had in mind for that was a roof repair for our maintenance building, which we
Okay.
estimated to be about $7,000. We had kind of hoped that we might run across a benevolent citizen or donation that might help us out on that. So far, that hasn't come through. So we're looking to use that money for this spring for that particular project. So just in rank of the things that we hope to spend our money on, the first one is for the wage increase. What we'd like to do is our part-time maintenance season starts April 1st, so we'd like to institute the raises for that group starting then. And then for the lifeguards, they start on May 23rd. So we'd like to do that. And we estimated about $1,000 would cover those increases to finish out the fiscal year.
Sorry, what was the number?
$1,000.
1,000. Okay.
For the roof repair, that was $7,000. That'd be the next in line. After that, we wanted to do some overseeding this spring on both the prone and town beach properties in the areas that have become rather patchy. We also have cleared a new area that we're trying to beef up into a new picnic area, so we'd like to get about $1,000 worth of seed for that. So that's next on the list. We have some irrigation repairs that we'd like to do, just some sprinkler heads that they're still somewhat functioning, but they're going to have to get repaired. Fortunately, that's a lot of the work we can do ourselves. It's just materials for that. But the sprinkler heads themselves and some of the materials do run into some money. We also want to hire someone, an irrigation specialist, to install a spigot so that we can water down a field, our softball field. So that's another thing. So that was another $1,000 we were hoping to spend. The next one was for sign upgrades, trying to get some signage replacements, also some signage additions, so some rules and regulations down at the park. We've had a generous offer from Selectman Chris Hillman to see if he can help us with some signs with that. If that comes through, that won't be nearly the expense we anticipate it to be, but otherwise that would be $1,000. We'd like to get some new clay for the baseball fields. When people say the term dirt cheap, they're not referring to clay. It's about $1,000 for 20 tons of 20.
Yeah, 20 yards.
A truckload.
For a truckload.
A truckload of clay.
And how much would that cover? Would that do just one ball field?
What it does is it raises one small field up about 2 inches, so that would raise 2 fields up about 1 inch, which is what we're trying to do.
Okay.
What happens, just not to get too technical stuff, people ask us all the time, so you guys probably ask the thing, where's the clay go? Put it down, where's it go? Does it get pushed down? What happens is it blows away. It literally blows away. If you go down on a hot day, you'll see dust coming off, and you multiply that times a gazillion, and the clay just eventually blows away. So you have to keep on augmenting it as you go. Just it's like the sand at the beach. We also have to do that too. We have that built into the budget this year. We're all set with that.
Okay.
And the last one was our soccer program for our younger kids has been booming, and we're at the point where we're going to probably expand to 2 more teams per
Okay.
season, which means we'd have to get new nets for that. So instead of straining the soccer budget, we would, if we had extra money, that'd be a nice thing to get out of there. That would be
Just-
$800 for that.
And that would be just additional nets?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I know generally, like, Air Youth Soccer is an independent entity that runs itself. How much does it cost to sign up for Air Youth Soccer? Do you know off the top of your head what the
Yes.
registration fees are?
Yes, for each level it's different. For the U4, which is just the little kickers, it's $25. For the next level, it's U6, it's $35, and then it's $40 for the
For UA?
E-rates.
Okay.
Part of that, a good portion of that expense goes to something that has, it's been a nice addition to the program. There's a company called Challenger, which we get to come in, and they it's still a volunteer coach system, but they're basically act as the head coaches for this and help train the coaches for different things. So that's a lot of the expense for that money goes to that. The rest goes to shirts and
Yeah.
equipment.
Yeah, Challenger's a good program. Okay. I only ask because I just want to make sure that the cost of signing up for these sports aren't prohibitive, if more equipment is needed.
We do monitor other programs in
Yeah.
surrounding towns, and we are by far the lowest in the area.
Okay.
So,
Great.
If we asked you for this, a list like this next year, I imagine you could give me another 6 or 8 to write down for other things you'd like to do.
yeah,
I'm just
there's no
wondering if
answer.
we can redo this line.
I was actually thinking the same thing.
We'll see how we come in on the budget and stuff, but if we could find extra again, I'd love to see you continue for maintenance and improvements for your program.
Well, we appreciate it.
Yeah, if not the full 10, at least give you something that can definitely help all overall programs that you guys run.
Yeah, and we would always like to think that if we don't use it, we'll give it back. So,
That's great.
and we hope to give some of this money. We hope to not spend this whole $10,000 if we don't have to.
Wish more people thought like that.
Now, this is, my math is correct, this actually is 12.8 that you gave us.
That's kind of a
Wish
pecking
list,
order.
yeah. And you have 10 in this year's budget to work with, so
Yes.
arguably, to do all of these things, you'd need another $2,800 now.
Unless we can figure out ways to make them
Right.
cheaper or whatever. Like I said, with the roof repair, I'm still kind of
Open,
working on some
yeah.
stuff that we might be able to work out. We'll see. We
Okay.
got some nice people in town, so.
Yeah, we do. Any other questions on the operating budget?
Not on the operating, not for me.
Okay. Any other questions on operating? No? Okay. I know you include the Air Shirley football in the Little League, and that's out of your jurisdiction now, correct?
Yeah, we don't
Okay.
include it.
Yeah, right.
Somebody else includes it in our list.
Okay. All right, we'll follow up with them directly then. Any other questions?
Not on that, I
No.
maybe we could walk through the questionnaire.
Good.
Yeah, all right. Why don't we walk through the questionnaire? That's okay.
Upstairs.
You want to borrow one?
Do you have an extra?
Yeah.
You can share.
And do you have a pair of reading glasses?
Oh,
Can't do that for you.
Yeah, I'm getting it too.
So we'll talk through them. So next 2 to 5 year replacing of existing equipment or facilities. Number one is the storage, which I know is a major issue with the old fire station going away. Any update on potential solutions to that?
Well, where we left it off with the capital planning, as you may recall, Dan, was when we presented that as a need, we found that the committee itself offered about 5 different ideas all the way up and down the ladder of things that we should go, directions we should go with that. I believe the final consensus that the commission was satisfied with was just building a maintenance building at a minimal cost for now, and then working on other things such as community centers and other beautiful ideas, yet at the same time long-range planning. We need a maintenance building like now. So it's, so our ideal thing would be to get something, low cost, that may or may not include an office as part of it. That was, one of the thoughts that was in there. But even if it was with just even the shelf of the office that could then be added later and infrastructure to be added later, that would be ideal.
Okay. And where would that go up, I guess? Next question. Just from a location
It would go next to
perspective.
the old maintenance building.
Okay.
As you pull in front of the existing maintenance building, you'd like drive right in, it would be straight ahead.
Okay.
So the garage doors would drive straight into it.
You'd form an L with the other
Yeah.
building, which would still be
Yeah.
in use, especially if you put a new roof on it.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Do you have any cost estimates on that, Jeff?
Well, we've been working with the DPW director, Mark, with that over the last year, and he thought that a building just in that range could be done for under $100,000.
Okay. Yeah, I will say the capital committee was very receptive to this idea of having a place to store your equipment and was trying to encourage you to think big, but less money is good for the town, I suppose. We could try to convene the capital committee again to see if we can get it through this year. I can send it, do you think capital committee's done? It's dissolved
Right.
for the year, but I
Right.
think you had a lot of people supporting the parks at that table, and I don't think it'd be an issue to get us together again, but it would have to be soon. If you had a number and a drawing that you could show us.
Right. Yeah, it's, we have a meeting coming up, and the commission can talk about that, and we can get in touch with you if that's something you want to do. We definitely certainly appreciate that thought. I think it's such a big step, especially with the additional thoughts that some people had, which I don't disagree with, by the way, at all. I think
There were a lot of suggestions, yeah.
Thinking
I
big
think
is
back on
great,
it.
and I like them all. But there's also, I've been, talking to people about this for 20 years, about, community centers and everything else, and it's the where and the how that doesn't add up sometimes. So a lot of well-meaning thoughts, let's try to figure out how to do it, but if we're gonna, let's, make sure we got the right steps going the right way before we just go and spend money on something, and then, a year later, we probably shouldn't have done that, we should have done this instead. So I'd rather get it done right, and, in the meantime, us figure out a way to make things work for now.
Yeah.
Because we can always figure out a way to do things, but it's, like right now, we have everything stored outside, in tarps and whatnot. And, is that long-term? Of course not, because at some point, someone's gonna figure that out, and they're gonna snitch it or take it or whatever, or, things are gonna wear down. So you do need a building. But it's, until we get the right answer, we can wait it out. So, thank you for that offer.
Sure.
We'll be talking that at the next meeting.
Okay. Great.
Irrigation system. Any idea what something like that would cost for the beach? I don't even know. I have no idea what an irrigation
Yes,
system would cost.
The last time we ran an estimate for it, it was about $15,000. And that was about 5 years ago. I don't think it's gonna change that much. So it's, different people have different things. We learned a lot from the bidding system when we had the irrigation put in at Prony Park. And the biggest thing we learned was that going with the lowest bid isn't always in your best interest. Because what happened in that particular situation is we had 8 different people put in bids, and we had most of them all around the same level. One came in pretty good, and he was a local guy who we actually use now for a lot of stuff. And then a company from Boston, East Boston, submitted something for $10,000 under everybody else. And it's like, how could that be? Well, got to go with that. Well, it turns out that the work was what we got, what we paid for it. And because of that, we ended up spending lots of money and having lots of failed situations because of that. So, and then I learned later on about the laws that says you don't have to necessarily go with the lowest bid, you have to go with the best bid for
the money,
that
yeah,
fulfills your
that's
interests. So, I like the person that gave us the bid for the $15,000. I shouldn't say I like them, I trust what they had in mind to do. So I think that would work, that their specs would get moved on. So I think that's a reasonable cost, it's $15,000.
Okay. The other item you mentioned is resurfacing the outdoor basketball courts. Would that be Peroni Park, the beach, or both?
It's Prony Park.
Peroni Park.
And the history of those were installed about 20-plus years ago. They weren't anything special. It was just basically pavement that was put down and put up. And as you probably can recognize, pavement eventually gets heaves and divots and things like that. It's reaching a point where it's not unplayable, but it's I would say it's unplayable for like if you want to do a competitive game, which we actually have to do down there. So it's reaching, and it will reach a danger point too. So it's a need at some point, and then it comes down to how nice do you want to do it. Do you want to do it like it? What was done at the beach was a really nice surface, and you can get it done with color, and that works out really good. So we would like to do something like that at some point, and the cost for that I would estimate to be about $5,000.
5,000.
To replicate what you have down at the beach?
That type of court, yes, which is basically like a tennis court.
And it's durable and lasts longer too, right?
It does.
Yeah.
Although the one thing I did notice about that is when it gets really hot, it can mush.
Oh, yeah?
If you like
Most
put
anything
something,
will mush when
well,
it
if
gets
you put something really heavy on it, so you have to be careful. Like if you put like a cinder block on it or something, it'll.
sink a little
It'll
bit.
sink.
So you have to be careful.
Interesting. For the basketball courts down at Peroni Park, what's the condition of the hoops and the backboards down there? Would those need any addressing?
We have swapped those out on occasion as where requires. So right now they're in pretty good shape. We could probably replace 2 rims at this point, which are about $500 each. So
Okay.
they're close. We can do the nets anyway, but that's not much money. The backboards themselves are in good shape. The supporting framework is very solid.
Good. What's next?
Staffing levels, they said, were good.
Okay.
Then looking into grants for the play structure at Peroni. Do you know, did Littleton get grants when they swapped theirs out this past winter?
I didn't know.
Yeah, the Castle on the
They're
Clouds.
putting in all kinds, they're putting in like 4 or 5 basketball courts over there.
I'll have to look that up. I didn't realize they'd done that yet.
They redid the
Yeah,
whole
one
I
of
know
those
they've been
playground.
talking about it for years. I didn't know they started doing
Yeah, it's
it.
still closed, they're still working on it.
Okay, I'll look into that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Okay.
That'd be great to know if they did, because we've been asking.
Yeah, you wanna take a look.
economic
You have the
development,
blueprint to follow.
Yeah, you want to take a look
Our
at it.
friends over there too,
They put up some real nice hoops
Yeah.
and
to keep an eye on it. And Alicia's been saying that she's going to be looking into that for us.
Great.
Good. Sorry, go ahead.
And then the last was if there was a possibility to get more part-time help in order to free up the supervisor to supervise as opposed to work on things.
Hey, say that?
No, and I loved your line about getting the
Like
budget
putting the
done.
budget in on time.
I'm paraphrasing.
Oh, okay.
I can say you wrote anything so long ago.
You have heard that they've reinstituted the senior work program, so that, there's potentially some assistance, at least in an office level.
Yes, we've put in for projects
We have,
for that.
we've been talking about that for 3 years, right? Been
Yeah.
on the
Yeah,
agenda.
well, it's come and gone and come
It's
and
coming.
gone and come and gone, and it's back.
It's back and better than ever.
Let's hope.
Yeah. Say, that was a real wise guy there, wasn't I? So yeah, that is a long-term thing that
Okay.
Dan touched on before, that we've been approached by various entities, including the selectmen, about possibly expanding our role in town, doing different maintenance jobs on different parks, even, this complex here, doing the outside work here is an example of a potential thing to do. The old schoolhouse, things like that, the library.
Yeah.
If that was to happen, that's where we definitely want to have to expand.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I just had a question and it completely left my mind. No, it's not coming back, sorry. Any other questions?
No, that was nothing for me.
No, as always, gentlemen, it's a pleasure. I think you do a great job with your department and the people you have working for you. Guys do a fantastic job.
They do.
Really do.
Jeff does a fantastic
Well,
job.
we got, it comes from the top, and we all work together well.
It's just, I don't know if you're the one that sucked me into coaching back when my son was in T-ball. You volunteered me to head coach, and
Okay, get that
been
budget
full
sheet
bore
right
ever
there.
since.
I just need to put it back in my binder.
So, Dan, you're equally as responsible.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
John.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
Pauline, thank you.
Thanks.
Much appreciated.
Good to see you, Chuck.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry, I just did that too, so it might have been why you did. Just cannot wake up today.
I'm sure we all had plenty of exercise the past 2 days.
A little. Not yesterday, all today. I didn't leave the house yesterday. Is there
My
a Board of
in-laws, too.
Health budget in here?
Lucky you.
Yeah,
What's that?
looks probably about the middle of your book. It starts with the barn inspector. It's one of the ones that are folded, if that helps.
I will. I didn't take a look today.
If I pull that one out. Oh, here it is.
And I don't think I tabbed it.
Here, I'll give you a moment to find that before we call them up.
Barn inspector.
Got it?
Thank you.
All right, up next we have the Board of Health. Ms. Papineau, come on up. How are you this evening?
Great. And you all are dug out and plowed out and
For the most part.
shoveled out, I guess. It's good to hear.
Well, thanks for coming this evening. I know you specifically requested this meeting, so if you want to
Thank you for accommodating
walk us.
that.
Oh, absolutely, no problem. Always happy to meet with anyone, regardless of what they do and what their budget size is.
Yeah, we're pretty small, especially when you take out the kind of, fixed sort of costs from Neshoba
Yeah.
Board of Health. So our operating budget exclusive of that is pretty small. But there were a couple of changes this year that I wanted to make sure that you were clear on what we were doing and why. So the first one has to do with this line item 1247, which is currently called barn inspector, which is, we're asking to change that in the budget because there really is no such thing as a barn inspector, it's
Okay.
animal inspector. And what has happened there is 2012, 2013, the stipend was fairly small. For 2014, we upped that because we realized that we were accumulating a lot more people that had chicken permits. A lot of people in this town have chickens.
Really?
Yeah. And our animal inspector has to go out, to every,
Chicken.
it's actually considered a farm if you have any animals, even chickens. One chicken, according to
Really?
Department of Agriculture, Animal Health, is a farm. So we issue permits. Our animal inspector goes out before the permit's issued, and they're renewed every year. And she does an inspection. She looks at the coop. She looks at where everything's stored, manure, and so forth. So that was the increase to $1,000. This year, something a little interesting happened. Prior to me joining the Board of Health, I joined the board in November of, what are we in 15 now? So I guess it would be 2013. I'm a little over 2 years on the board. For some reason, historically, the duties of the animal inspector, as they are set forth by the Commonwealth, were split between the Board of Health, which did, and this is the reason the position was historically called barn inspector. We did the inspection of the barns, which is the chickens. There are 2 people who have horses, and there are 2 fairly good-sized farms in town. Under that animal inspector job description, however, also falls rabies control, which consists of investigating contact between either a wild animal and a human, a wild animal and a domestic animal. If a bat gets in your house, you find your cat playing with the bat. That's actually happened to us this year. The animal inspector has to go out, do an investigation, determine what the contact was, issue a quarantine of the appropriate amount of time, figure out if the animal has its, rabies vaccination and whether it's up to date. And then there's some back and forth with the state about the quarantine, and then there's the official lifting of the quarantine. So that piece of it, the rabies control piece, had been performed by the animal control officer who reports to the police department, which is Bob Frederick. This year, somehow, we ended up with, according to the Commonwealth Board of Health, is supposed to nominate the animal inspector. We did, but we ended up with 2 animal inspectors somehow for a very short period of time, because Chief Murray had also sent in a nomination for Bob Frederick to be animal inspector. And I think that was just a crossed lines of communication. So we ironed it out that Bob Frederick then very soon after resigned as animal inspector, and all of that responsibility came under Board of Health. The animal control officer still does things like, investigates if there's an animal that needs to be controlled, basically, or if there's a dead animal in the street and something needs to be done.
That type of thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the responsibilities really for this are still split a little bit, but we've taken on that whole new rabies control issue. So we had our animal inspector track her time over a 4-month period. How much time was she putting in just on the quarantine-related issues? How many investigations had she done? And based on that, we had, I would say it was several months ago now, had a meeting and decided that really the appropriate stipend for that job with the increased responsibilities should be an additional $1,600, so it should go up to $2,600 per year. Now, I don't know, and I don't think it's really my position to approach the police department directly, but I don't know if it's possible to move any funds from the animal control officer.
The words right out of my head, that's what I was thinking.
He's no longer doing something he used to do before, so this really should be a net neutral transfer. It should be just moving $1,600, which I think would still leave him with a sizable amount of money for the animal control work that he does. I have no idea how that would be received. I haven't really broached that topic.
Do you know how, at least on the animal inspector side, is this just a flat stipend, or is it kind of like an hourly? Is it just a flat?
No, it's actually called out in the regulation that it's a flat amount. It's not a salary. It's not an hourly rate. It's not a job. It does get posted, and we appoint someone to it, but it's really not. They're not an employee of the town in any way.
Yeah, I'm trying to visualize, and I think these two are trying to look it up, the animal control office.
I can't remember where that
Line.
person
It's under the police.
It's right under the police, second page.
Yeah.
Currently,
How is that broken out?
FY15 budget is 11,557. Appears to be up from the prior year by 2%, if the math in my head is correct. It's a salary, and then there's a services and supplies line. Most of the services have been spent already, 900 out of 13.
Okay.
And
What does, just out of curiosity, what does services for that position entail? I'm just curious. I wonder if that's the, they would still take a stray dog, for example, if
Could
there
be
were a
the
stray dog
kenneling.
roaming.
Could be
Right, it could be
kenneling.
kenneling. I think that comes out of
Food.
that. Yeah,
Who knows?
yeah, exactly.
Cleaning up animals in the street.
Yeah,
Although
yeah,
DPW
exactly.
usually does that, so.
So that would be for us to follow up on.
Yeah, exactly. That would be
Yeah,
my
and we'll follow up.
suggestion.
Okay.
And there's a 2% in here for FY16 as well.
All right.
So that's what that's all about. And
Okay.
if you do, want to discuss that with Chief Mar, I'd be happy to
Okay.
be part
I
of that
appreciate
discussion, try to help you sort out or untangle what falls under Board of Health now and what falls under
Yeah.
what's animal inspector versus what's animal control officer, so.
Okay. All right. No, yeah.
So that was really our big increase. The other items, really the only two increases were, I put in a 6% increase for supplies, which was it's like an extra $25.
20, yeah, that's-
But the other thing that did increase quite a bit, if you look at percentage, is for services. And what falls under services for us typically is the newspaper postings for public hearings. And we know we're going to have, it's really hard to project out now an entire year and a half, but we know for sure that there are going to be 2 public hearings on regulations that we're working on. We have a new trash hauler regulation, and there are going to be some modifications to the tobacco regs to cover e-cigarettes and smokeless tobacco. And we're not banning them. This is not Westminster or whatever town tried to do that. We're not banning them. We're just updating the regulation to encompass
Okay.
them. So no one come knocking at my door. And then we have 2 other regs we're looking at modifying, not sure on one of them if it's actually going to require a public hearing. And that would leave us, if we do all 3 of those, with kind of one in the hole, if we
Okay.
need
That's
to
fine.
do another one.
That, that's just smart planning. I appreciate that.
And as far as that's concerned, on any of these line items, we use what we use, and the rest of it just goes unused. So we're really not spendthrifts in particular. I think that the Neshoba rates were set already, so that number I think you can get from Neshoba Board of Health.
So that number's definitely
Okay.
gonna change, right?
Yeah, there was an increase. Mary Spinner attended the meeting, and they actually have the 2 line items. There's nursing, which covers community nursing.
Yep.
The other is, it's under Neshoba Board of Health, but that's our health agent who goes out and does the restaurant inspections and,
Okay.
that kind of stuff. Inspects apartments.
Yeah, I think we usually get that from the town
Residences.
accountant, so. we'll
Yeah,
follow
they set the rates for all their participating towns, and then they just kind of let the accountant know
that. Send
what
us
it
a
is.
bill.
Yeah, exactly. But I know Mary did say when she updated us at our last meeting that there was an increase in their rates just due
Okay.
to increased cost of services and so forth.
All right.
So that's really it. I just wanted to explain what was going on here with how come we have a 62% increase in the animal inspector
No, I appreciate
line
it.
item. Yeah, I know that might have been hard to figure out.
Okay.
And the only other thing that I want to mention to you, it's not a budget line item, I just want to mention it, is that for some reason, historically, Board of Health has always set well, I shouldn't say always, not back to when the town was founded, but I think in recent times, has historically set the rates for the transfer station. The sticker fee, which would be the standard fee, and then the it's either 60 or 65, and the bag fee.
Over
Yeah.
60, I think.
Over 60? Woo, getting closer every day. Save a few bucks there.
Is that half? It's a good savings.
Yeah, it actually is a pretty good savings. But that's always been an odd thing for us, because we have no control over the outlays side of it, and we really have no visibility as to what goes on there. So we voted several months ago to get the Board of Health out of the business of setting the transfer station fees, because if you look at our charter of protecting public health, setting transfer station fees does not in any way serve that. And so we wrote a letter to the selectmen I've spoken to Mark Wetzel, he knows. Just want you all to know that that happened, and so that,
Okay.
item doesn't kind of fall, I'm sure it won't fall through the cracks, but it won't be Board of Health doing it this time around. And what I spoke to Mark about was, seems like it would make a lot more sense if that kind of went into one of these, planning funds where you're looking at what you need to do at transfer station over the next several years, and then how would you accomplish that through, either bag increases or
Okay,
stickers. But
Yeah.
at any rate, it's not our job anymore.
all right. Yeah. They actually are in an enterprise fund, but they've just never covered the costs. with
Is
just
solid
the-
waste an enterprise fund also? I don't think that.
Not in the traditional sense,
Right,
but
right.
that's the
They operate like it is, but
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, there's just the operating budget piece that covers the shortfall.
Yeah.
So, I've always wondered why Board of Health did that anyway
A
myself,
lot of
so.
people have, including the
Okay.
Board of Health.
Yes, exactly. So,
All right, so we'll look for that change in the future, in the near future, I hope. And if you need any help getting out of that, let us know.
I think we're all
that.
set. I mean, we got no response back saying, hey, you can't do that, It just kind of.
That's because it hasn't hit yet.
Right.
Maybe,
Transfer
yeah.
station fees double, people will say, Kim,
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this. I don't know the answer, but, and I don't, that's why I say I don't know if you know the answer.
Okay.
But whenever the Board of Health changed the transfer station fee,
Yeah.
it was done in a public hearing. Historically, back 20 years ago. was a
Really?
public
Because in
hearing.
my 2 times of
That's-
doing it, it wasn't. That's interesting. No, we did it in regular, I've been through it twice, and we did it in regular,
That is interesting, because I remember
Regular
going to
meetings.
public hearings on the transfer station fees.
I think it would make sense if the incomes and the outflows are under the same person to do that at a public meeting, because then we could really have people asking questions about, well, wait a minute, where is this increased money gonna go? And I think maybe that's why Board of Health stopped doing it, because if they asked us that question, we would just say, I don't know, we gotta match these numbers that DPW gave us.
Okay.
The reason I question that is because we have all these rates and fees that are typically established by the Board of Selectmen, but aren't reviewed on an annual or regular basis to know whether they're appropriate for the given costs these days. I mean, fees should offset costs.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't know the answer, I'm just throwing it out there for
Okay, well,
consideration.
that's a
if we want.
procedural thing that would go through,
We
I
need
guess,
to keep in
Board of
track.
Yeah.
Selectmen and the town administrator.
Sure, but it is also part of the budget issue. If it's going to turn over to DPW, we want to be sure
I'm
that.
not really sure, we made no recommendation for where it should go, because that seemed beyond our scope. We just said it should be turned over to the
Somebody,
appropriate
party.
board or authority.
Okay.
So I did not hear back if selectmen were going to take it on, or if DPW is going to take it, so.
Someone else.
Somebody asked me. Just don't come to
Yeah,
us.
just keep the rates the same.
That works too.
Well, maybe not for meeting the,
think
Right.
we always have a budget, I don't know.
Correct,
Yeah,
Correct,
exactly.
Which is where that all
Exactly.
flows into our last, because that is an enterprise fund.
And I
I
think it's.
mean, a budgeting issue.
And I think it's going to be an interesting, I mean, really, enterprise is the right way to handle it, because I know that we've been putting off some improvements at the transfer station while we looked at curbside, so now the pigeons are gonna come home to roost on that one, so.
All right. Any other questions on?
Not for me, thank you.
Yeah,
No, thank you very much. If we have any follow-up questions.
Yeah,
regarding
fantastic.
The animal
Call me,
inspector, et cetera,
email me,
I'll get
yeah.
in touch with you.
yeah, whatever you
All right,
need to
Thank you,
do.
Pam.
You're welcome, have a good evening.
Thank you, you too.
Drive home carefully.
Okay.
I wonder where this condo association is, a ton of people.
Nobody I recognize.
No, I didn't recognize anyone either.
But it could be a condo meeting, because they're usually done in January.
Charge the
And they
extra
pay rent.
for use of the great hall.
They pay a user fee, I should say, not rent.
For upstairs.
Jeff, can you give us? I don't know why not.
I did see Kevin
Kevin
enter the
walked in.
building, but I have not seen him enter the room yet, so we'll hold off on that. So with if everyone pleases everyone, I'll jump around on the schedule till Mr. Johnson gets here.
Sounds
Would that
good.
be okay?
Absolutely.
So real quick, I'll actually do the Ayer Shirley Regional School District assessment. I know everyone's been on the emails. We had the distribution from the school committee meeting, which I believe was either last week or the week before. So far, the region's operating budget has an increase of $1,290,000 and some change, or an 8.6% operating increase. The way the formula falls out under the current format is a $677,279 increase to Ayer, which is 7.3%.
Can you give me the 677 numbers?
677,279, or
So
7.3% increase over last year. Shirley's portion is 613,518, and 10.7% increase for them. And that does include the hold harmless phase-in, so ours is actually $100,000 less than it normally would be compared to last year's formula, and Shirley's is $100,000 higher than it would have been from last year on that. At the meeting, the town administrators for Ayer and Shirley both spoke, kind of saying we don't know how sustainable these increases are. It's the fourth year of the regional school district, and it's I think the fourth time they've come in at almost double-digit operating budget increases in the budget cycle to begin with. So the town administrators did say that they will support a 5% operating budget increase, or, sorry, let me rephrase that, a 5% increase to Shirley. My apologies for that, which comes to about 3.5 to 4% increase in operating budget for the school district itself. That actually stems from meetings between the town administrator and the finance committee chairman for Ayer and Shirley that took place back in December. We had a very couple of meetings just to discuss the school situation, the impacts that it has on both of the towns. The general consensus that came out of those meetings was that we feel that, I was at the meeting, so I'll give my feelings, that the operating budget at the regional school district has to learn to live within certain parameters that is sustainable for both towns in the near and in the long term. So therefore, it was agreed upon that Shirley believes that they can afford a 5% increase. Now, to bear in mind, the $100,000 phase-in that occurs every year of the first 5 years, that $100,000 is an automatic 2% increase for Shirley. So right off the bat, it's 2% impact for them. And then whatever the operating gets overlaid on top of that.
So it would essentially be 7% for Shirley also.
No, they're actually looking at it as its cap of the 5%.
Five.
Inclusive of the
3 for
100
the
Yeah.
operator and 2 for the
Yeah.
phase-in.
Yeah, and over the last few years with the Shirley question and the formula and everything, we've put a lot of pressure on Shirley given their finances, but there is a different tone coming out of Shirley with the new administrator that they have. I think she knows that she has a problem financially, and she's making some of the right steps to correct those and try and get the town on a more stable footing, so they have a better feel of what their finances are and whether or not they would need an override, et cetera. So, but I think part of the conversation was, as long as the phase-in is in place with the $100,000 shipped back and forth, it's hard for us as each community to really know where we stand on our ability to afford, because our assessment is actually $100,000 less than it would be. Theirs is $100,000 more. So I think until we get to that baseline after the phase-in, I think at that point
We'll be seeing truer numbers, really.
exactly.
More real
Yeah,
numbers.
yeah. And I'd hate to make any kind of changes to the formula, which I know has one of the suggestions that's been thrown around before we're actually on that solid footing without the phase-in. So second to last year, the phase-in for FY16, FY17 is the
It's the
final
last.
year. So FY18 will have, I guess, what you would call a true assessment from the schools. John Ron forwarded the slide presentation that was at the school committee meeting this afternoon. I haven't had a chance to look at it. For our next meeting in February, I will throw together just some quick comparison. Bless you. Some quick comparisons. I've been building a trend report, just a budget comparison, so I'll bring that. And we'll also go through I'll go through the slide presentation and see if there's anywhere that just raises flags. Bless you. That's okay. Any other questions on the assessment?
No, there's another public session on the 10th. According to my notes, a school committee meeting.
All right. Anything else?
No, I don't have anything
No?
on the schools.
Okay. All right, so we'll jump back up to the budget reviews. Payroll and benefits. Mr. Johnson is here. How are you this evening? Come on down.
How are you?
Doing well,
My
thanks.
sneezing has nothing to do with you walking in.
Do I need to sit way over here?
No, I just snuck up on me, I'm
If
sorry.
you have a surgical mask, you may want to put it on at this time, and any surgical gloves you.
I stopped
Yeah.
yawning, so I mean, we go from one to the other.
So thank you for coming this evening. I apologize it took me so long to get back to you. That
Oh,
was
that's all right.
my fault, not yours.
No,
Um,
it's a busy time of year, I understand that.
Unfortunately, it is. And when you throw 30 inches of snow on top, it just makes it even worse.
Just 30? I had a little bit more.
I think we had more.
It doesn't help, does it?
No, it definitely does not. So we want to give you the opportunity to kind of walk us through your budget for
Okay.
FY16.
Okay.
I know this is your first year putting a budget together, so if you have any questions, whatever, feel free to ask.
Thanks,
And I'll turn it over to you for that,
thanks.
please.
So my first year here putting a budget together, I
gonna say,
certainly
yeah.
had some experience in doing it. But it's also the first time that this budget has been put together as such. So it's a compilation of pieces that were in different places, is my understanding. And this is what the accountant gave to me. She said, this is what we're going to start with, and we'll go from here. So I trust you have a copy of the worksheet that I provided to her.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Thank you.
So you want me just to go through each line item?
That would be perfect.
It's pretty much self-explanatory based on the comment that's there, but I'm happy to speak to each item. So what you see for the salary line is for fiscal 2016 is the salary in the fiscal 15 contract annualized plus 2%.
Does
Pretty.
the contract include the 2%?
It does not.
Okay. Does it just say COLA?
It just it says there's a provision for a wage opening clause.
Okay.
So-
If there's a COLA for non-union employees in town, that would be a wage opening?
In the contract, I guess it is.
Okay.
To be honest with you, it's the first time I've had an employment contract.
Okay.
So it's all new to me, but that's my understanding. There is no COLA built in for successive years in the contract. There's no number.
Some have it, that's
or
why I
percentage.
asked.
Right,
Okay,
right. So the language that was presented is what was accepted. So
Okay.
that's, I just plugged in a number,
gotcha.
Okay.
okay?
No, thank you.
The services is a level fund number from the office for fiscal 15, $300. What I did for the next two line items for supplies and other expenses, my best estimates as to what the costs to operate the office would be annualized. It's simply office supplies, forms that I would need throughout the year, envelopes, labor postings that are mandated by statute each year. And then the next line, 57000, is for expenses for training, meetings, dues for professional organizations, and travel to and from those meetings. But my best estimate as to what those expenses will be.
Okay.
Any questions there before I move on?
Sorry, go ahead.
Nope. You might gonna say what I was just gonna
Okay.
say, so go ahead.
Because I know, for example, everyone belongs to a different group. What group, is there like a specific payroll and benefit manager?
There isn't.
In the Commonwealth?
There isn't. So,
No,
so
okay.
I'm certified as a Massachusetts municipal treasurer.
Okay.
In my conversations with the selectmen, they asked me to maintain that certification, not specific to what the title is, but because the job and the organization has, with payroll and benefits administration, absent an HR department in a town, the treasurers do it. So training and professional development for those particular
Okay.
pieces of what happens here in Ayer can be gleaned from that professional organization.
All right, thank you.
Okay?
Holly,
Different question.
different question.
The sheet I have, Kevin, the total for the,
Yeah, the total's wrong, isn't it?
yes, thank you, I did.
I apologize for that.
That's all right.
I just
figured the
realized that
spreadsheet
as I was
a
looking at it.
mistake.
It is, and to be frank, I made an assumption, shame on me, that the formulas were correct, and obviously they're not. So the
I don't know
50,900,
enough about Excel to know, but
Yeah.
I knew that there was something wrong between those two columns.
I
Should
do.
be 65,
yeah, my apologies for that.
That's all right.
472, 98.
Thank
Or I
you.
presumed I wanted to be sure. I was-
Yeah, I presumed.
Sorry, I did notice that last week and I did not send you a note on that.
Oh, I apologize. And I looked at this afternoon and didn't catch that either, but I will correct that, and I'll check all the other foots as well and provide you with an updated copy tomorrow. I can do that.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you.
The next line is unemployment compensation. It's here because it's here. Right now, the treasurer has responsibility for that budget, and in speaking with her, I know that she was going to include that in her budget presentation as well. So I want to avoid that redundancy, but it was provided to me,
Okay.
so I
Gotcha.
left it in. Okay. Other employee benefits is Medicare, which is 1.45% of payroll. Simply took the fiscal 15 budget, added a number, a factor of 3.5%, for a lack of better definition, just to come up with a number to begin the budget process. Now, I'm unfamiliar with the actual process here. My sense is that the dynamic is just that. It's like in flux a little bit. So as we narrow down the actual wages for the next fiscal
Exactly.
year,
Yeah,
we can
if that number,
quantify
as
that.
we get closer to the town meeting, if that
It-
number
it may change.
becomes clear, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Please let us know as close to the actuals as possible.
Sure, I can do that. And once we get a better sense of what the wage increases are, what I didn't do here was any work to see what the union contracts, the labor contracts now provide for
Mhm.
wage increases for the out years. That's something that the accountant and I are going to discuss to make sure we can get this as close as we
Okay.
can.
John?
And is it, the 1.45, that's just the employer match on FICA that I'm seeing in this line?
It is,
Okay.
it is.
And we don't need to match Social Security because of the county retirement?
Correct.
Okay. I'm sure I ask that every year.
No, that's okay.
It's a different world than mine.
It is a different world.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That's correct.
Oh, that's the foot.
In the 3.5% increases, just everything that's encapsulated within each of the contract, union, non-union contracts for COLA, steps, et cetera, longevity.
When I did this over the holidays,
Mhm.
I just took a snapshot in time based on my
Okay.
past experience.
Yeah.
We always took a factor and used that going forward so that there'd be enough latitude there should there be any employment changes
Okay.
and staff changes throughout the year. Certainly, we can refine that to get closer to the
No,
target.
that's fine. It was just a curiosity question.
Yeah, that's all. But that's what we intend to do, is look at what the existing contracts have for wage increases for fiscal 16 and kind of define that a little more closely,
Okay, great.
okay?
All right, Group health?
Group health life insurance benefits. This is an all-encompassing number, as it was explained to me by the accountant. The rolled-up number includes all the pieces that you see here. At least that's my understanding. And once again, she and I have to have more detailed discussion about what the true meaning of this is. But the single biggest number is health insurance, clearly. When I put this together, we were advised by Minnesota Health Group that we should budget about an 8% increase for fiscal 16. I can tell you now that's not enough. It looks like we'll be closer to a 10% number.
Yeah.
And I say that to you as discussions continue at Minnesota. There was a steering committee meeting last week, and we had some hard numbers from both the administrator of the plan, Group Benefit Strategies, and each of the health plans. And the numbers were 16 to 18%. What's yet to be determined is what Minnesota will do with reserves to mitigate the impact on the towns.
Okay.
So they meaning those that do the modeling for us, were given some direction and from the steering committee to use up to the maximum allowable limit according to, they have a policy for use of their reserves.
Yeah.
To get this into single digits as close as we can. And that being said, single digits may mean 9.8 or 9.9%, but that's where we are. So I explained that to Lisa. We didn't change this because it had already been submitted to you, but once again, it's a work in process. My sense is that by mid-February, we'll have a definitive number.
Yeah, I was given a warning about the 10% also.
Yeah.
In conversation last week.
Yeah. I learned of it last week, and I shared it with the town administrator, so I'm sure that he's shared it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's been, we've been lucky with that line item.
Sure.
For the last few years.
Sure.
You know, after handling 10, 12, 15% increases. For my first few years on the committee, it actually went down, so I guess it wasn't going to stay that way.
Yeah, it's interesting. Given the plan design changes, you've driven the rates down, and you had even some negative increases, I guess, from what I've learned over the past couple of years. But what's driving the cost increase substantially now is pharmacy co-pays, pharmacy expenses.
Interesting.
Aside from the claims history, the other single biggest factor is pharmacy costs, and they expect that to continue, the trend to continue there.
We've had 2 new add-ons to the buyback as well.
We did, and when we get there, I've done something, a worksheet to give to you.
Okay.
I was just updating it when I came in.
Sorry, I just
this
scrolled
evening.
right to the bottom because everything else was level funded.
Everything else is level funded, and a lot of that is because I don't have experience on what the trend has been. And in putting this together, we were 5 to 6 months into the budget year, and that may not have been enough information. But there are no indications that we expect to see any budget deficits for those numbers, at least as I speak to you now that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Once again, it's something that the accountant and I will discuss in more detail, specifically.
What is the third line item up, the health C/R? I can't remember what that's for.
I think that, if I understand correctly, that's a health credit for, paid to existing employees for agreeing to some plan design changes, and I can't give you probably the best definition, but I certainly can find out. Am I close?
Yeah, it sounds, if it is what Kevin is suggesting, it's when we renegotiated some of the contracts a few years, 10 years ago, and certain employees were given a buyback into their health insurance premiums by the selectmen. And I think the misconception at the time was it would end, but it continues for existing employees, it ends, it sunsets as employees leave. If that's the correct line. However, I don't know why it's going up. Well, actually, no. For
It's trending down.
12 and 13, it has gone, and 14, it has gone down, and that's probably because long-term employees
There's been
have-
some turnover in
have retired.
staff. Right,
Right, or left.
right.
Gotcha.
Right.
And to be frank, the contract that I remember it specifically in was DPW, which is, of course, the largest union
Sure.
at the time. And I think subsequently, other contracts have included some of that buyback provision.
I think what you're explaining is certainly a good choice of words and language for this, and I will just verify and send you an email tomorrow, Scott, to let you know if that's
That'd be
correct. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Awesome.
And I think it was like a whopping $50 per employee, but it obviously ends up adding up.
It does, and I see it in payroll when I process the payroll each week as sort of it's like a reverse deduction. It's
Right.
a credit in that regard. So
Yeah, I think you're right on that one.
kind of rekindles when
Yeah.
you think about it once a year. It's a
Well,
little
if
bit
I
of
remember, it was all the way back to like 2003.
that I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying.
That's a long time.
No, it couldn't have been 3, but it's
I'll
been
find out.
close to 10 years.
I'll find out what it means, and I'll find out the history and what it will be going, what the intent is going forward for.
That'd be
so that we know.
appreciated.
And what I would like to do, for my own edification,
Mhm.
I would change the language on some of these things so that it makes sense to me going forward as well. This is right from the ledger.
Yeah,
And,
you'll have to take that up with Lisa though.
Correct.
She
No,
controls
just for
the
me,
ledger.
so that I know that. I agree. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I don't mean to, I
And
wouldn't
we'd
change the
appreciate it
ledger at
also.
all.
Yeah,
but
there
I-
are some lines that really need new names.
Yeah.
And then some need to go away altogether. Like the
It's
state
good if you know what
roads.
it means,
Mm.
but if you don't live in it every day, you don't know what it means. And so, the last item is the health buyout program. And so I put together a worksheet that, just to show you the value of the program, and I'm sorry you didn't have
Oh, you
this
don't have to.
prior to tonight.
It's all right.
One for each of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would have blown this up on the
Yeah, I know,
thing to see it better.
I know.
It's all right.
It looks fine to me.
Yeah, but you look at these things all day
Look at
long.
numbers every day.
So what I've done is taken the existing participants in the health buyout program, and so the top half of the page is what they are paid in stipend for opting out of the program. And the lower half of the page is the cost avoidance in full year annualized premium savings as long as they're out of the program. So everything through fiscal 15 is actual. Fiscal 16, I've increased the premium savings on the lower half by 10% and then estimated 8% going forward just to be conservative, so as not to overestimate the savings. And then the last two lines netted out the savings by fiscal year and then the cumulative savings for the program. So as you look through fiscal 15, according to the data that I was able to collect, the town has saved about $360,000 because this program's in place. And I would say that's cost avoidance.
Yeah.
Right? And then projecting it going forward, if this program to be extended one more time for a 3-year term by the selectmen through fiscal 20, based on the trends that you see there, a 10% premium savings for fiscal 16 and 8% for 17, 18, 19, and 20, it'd be a net $1.3 million savings
We'd cover
to the
this year's
town.
premium.
I'm sorry?
We'd cover this year's health insurance premium.
I think this is a good document to have.
Definitely is. Thank you. Very helpful.
Just to show the value of the program, and it would certainly be a compelling piece of information to provide to the selectmen when it comes to renewal time
Yeah, absolutely.
for the program
My
itself.
recollection is this proposal actually came out of something Shirley did
It is.
a long time ago, like 2005, 4?
A long time ago. Yeah, a long time ago. This was exactly modeled after what we did in Shirley. So, and it worked well for us.
Yeah.
So, and just one note, you'll see on line 17, there's no savings in the out years. That participant in the program is no longer an employee,
Okay.
so savings stop when the employee leaves. And that individual's replacement, if in fact is replaced, may choose health benefits. So,
Okay.
just what you see there.
No, that's great.
That's the reason for nothing going forward. There's no expense and there's no savings.
So it's time for the selectmen next year, not this year, but next year to decide whether or not to continue it for 3 more years, because they do it on a 3-year basis.
It's good through fiscal 17,
Yeah.
and so fiscal years 18, 19, and 20 would be the next 3-year cycle.
This is excellent, thank you.
And I can email this to you if you'd like it as well.
I think I'm good with the printed copy, if that's okay.
I'm all set.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
yeah,
it's
printed
in
copy's
here.
great.
Good. So that is what I have for you for information tonight.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions of me before I leave?
I do not. I think it's very well put together, very well presented. Thank you. The only big thing would be the health insurance percentage, which Lisa generally, I think she like puts it up on the billboard coming into town with her health insurance increases. She communicates that very well. So we'll have that as soon as you and her have it.
To the best of my knowledge, the board at Minuteman Neshoba will vote on the premium for fiscal 16 on February 3rd.
February 3rd.
February
Okay.
3rd, Tuesday,
So
February
next
3rd.
week. Okay.
Next week, right.
Great.
Right. So there'll be a recommendation just prior to the meeting by the steering committee, and then the board will act on what the increases will be.
Okay.
So I'll know, and we'll get it back to Lisa, and we'll work this more closely going forward.
Great. Any other questions?
Not for me, thank you, Kevin.
Pauline, any other
Thank
questions?
you.
Just for clarification, because I get to do the minutes, and I want to be sure I reflect what you say correctly. The line item for training, the $1,300
Yes.
for training, meetings, dues, and travel, and I recognize that you have the treasurer certification.
Mhm.
That is the additional training, or don't want to say additional, but is it like
So
an
here's,
ongoing training to maintain the certification?
it is. There's training opportunities throughout the year, primarily a week, Tuesday through Thursday, middle of the week, out at UMass and Amherst. There's a tuition involved, and I drive each day, so it'll just be a mileage reimbursement for being there.
And it's similar to what the treasurer goes to as
Same
well, and the collector and
Same thing.
clerk.
We go together, and we sit in different rooms for different training at different times, that's all. And then I have maintained as treasurer. The treasurer is the town's representative to the retirement board, Middlesex County Retirement Board by statute. In my prior employment, I served in that same capacity, and I had become involved on a couple of different subcommittees at Middlesex Retirement. And during my interview process here, that was discussed, and the selectmen have asked me to remain involved to the extent that I can. So mileage to and from 4 or 5 meetings a year for different things there at the Retirement Board in Billerica. And then whatever other training opportunities come along. I went to a seminar in December down at Tufts about maintaining benefits appropriately for those on active duty military service.
You're
Those-
ahead of my thought
those
process
kinds
and
of
questions.
things.
So has other certain training specific to payroll and benefits
There
as
are.
well. So, okay.
Yeah, there are. And I anticipate having more opportunity next year as I get a better sense of what's needed and where we're going here.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you,
Okay.
Jeff.
Good.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
I
pleasure.
appreciate you
Thank
coming
you.
in.
What you need.
Thank you.
And I'll have something for you tomorrow. Thank
Great.
you.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Is that the end of the budget
That is the end of the budget meetings.
review? No, well, no, we haven't got the blessing on it yet.
Oh, there's still a long way to go on that.
Oh,
This
yeah.
notebook could talk. More stories. My problem is I didn't put the year on certain sections. Like, all right, which year did we talk about this?
Is that only for the budget? Is that just overall?
Oh, this is since April of 2011, I guess. Just going for all the meetings and things.
Oh, so you didn't date
So
the
since
pages?
2011, I've had 4-inch binders worth of paper that I've had to store at my house.
April's off to the future. It's all up here.
All right. So getting back onto the agenda, we're done with the budget reviews. Back to the FY16 budget, capital planning committee approvals for FY16. Mr. Kilcomb's going to discuss that with us.
Well, as you heard, our friends at Parks really were interested in a new building, but they had nothing they could really show us. They had one drawing that Mr. Welzel had supplied. They had a very receptive table. We encouraged them several times to come back with it. They never did. That's why I didn't feel surprised when he mentioned it this evening. But take the next step and come back to us. It would have made the list if it was reasonable.
I would personally, I would suggest that you perhaps follow up with Mr. Thomas directly and urge him to.
Mr.
Bring that
Podbrand, as the clerk for that committee, has done so a few times.
Okay, because if they're storing stuff outside, you know, it definitely sounds like a need it sooner than later type of situation.
And if they're not prepared to go forward with this year's budget for the building, for whatever reason, and I don't want to speculate what that reason is, Mark Wetzel did say that they could find some room for them.
That's right.
And if that may give them a comfort level. I know Jeff to know that he wants every, how do I say this? I dotted and T crossed. I usually get it backwards. And that may be some of what they're doing now. Although that's a presumption on my part, but again, the storage outside, at least if you can get into the DPW building somewhere,
Right.
even in the garage, it's better safe there than anywhere else. So, and sometimes the lines of communication don't flow very easily, as we heard with the animal control officer. So,
Very true. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
your
no worries.
process.
This list went out today to everybody. Wanted to review it before I forwarded it over. In short, we've got $2.5 million requested, $1.3 million that we're recommending go forward to the FinCom and to the Selects and eventually town meeting. Transcribing my notes and Lisa's input. Outright purchase $154,000 worth of the request, and then borrow about $1.1 million. So what we've tried to do is anything small enough that we just felt comfortable saying we can buy it, let's just buy it instead of incurring debt. It's been the similar mindset last year when we did this. The largest ticket item, that was a single ticket item that was requested, was a new ambulance, and the chief was able to demonstrate how eventually it would pay for itself via the enterprise fund. We were all comfortable with that. It's needed.
How much was that?
$225. I was very encouraged. There was a a lot of flexibility with the DPW director. The committee pushed back on several items saying, can the state pay for this? Do we really need this, et cetera? And he was willing to go back and forth with us, so I was encouraged by that. That and within his capital requests are also what I'll refer to as maintenance. He's setting up a program to replace culverts and water mains before they fail. It will actually be on a rotation. So every year you'll see 50,000 in there for, I'm looking at the wrong line.
Stormwater.
Thank you.
Last line, stormwater.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Thank you. So we'll be updating the drains and culverts, manhole covers, et cetera, before they fail, which is very encouraging. And lastly, we did approve money to continue with his grant process. He's made it through the first couple of hurdles to revitalize Main Street with state money. The state would chip in somewhere around 1.5 million if we're awarded one of those grants. That would be trees, new sidewalks, facades, et cetera, which I think is terrific.
I'm sorry, John, where is that on here? Under highway, never mind.
Yeah, it's 150 East Main Street design.
Yep. I knew we had talked about it when he was here the other day, but I was still looking down below for the enterprise fund.
What else is out there? DPW was again asking for some kind of garage facility up at the transfer station. We said no again. The last major purchase there was, of course, the trailer, which I agreed was needed to have an office setting for the gentleman to work there, but it still doesn't have water. It's been there 2 years. And we pushed back again saying, why don't we have the water department hook them up, start using that, and then maybe we talk about the next thing. Other big ticket items are paving the transfer station.
That went up a lot of money, that almost doubled.
That includes replacing all the pads that are underneath the compactors now. And that was, I think that's the highlights.
One thing I don't see on here, and maybe DPW has it budgeted elsewhere, but there are several areas in town, Upper Pleasant Street, Wright Road connection to Calvin Street, I think it is. I may have that street connection wrong. And I forget the third location where the water is really, really bad through the pipes.
It doesn't loop through.
It doesn't loop
Yeah.
through, correct. And at least a year ago, I know Mr. Wetzel agreed that the Pleasant Street end needed to be repaired because that was one of the worst. And then he was supposed to, each succeeding year, request or obtain funds to do Wright Road next, and I forget the third one. I would expect that that would have been on the capital planning list, but I'd have to go back and look. Or if we
We've
could
got the annual,
inquire.
he doesn't specify which water mains he's replacing, but he's got annual water mains at 150, which would cover 3 at his
Is that-
projected
yeah.
50
So
per.
that could be part of
Yeah,
it.
I distinctly remember him talking about Pleasant Street and the water quality, so that's got to be in this 150, Pauline.
Okay.
And that would be 3 water mains at 50 each.
Yeah, I could have the 50 each wrong. It might be 150 each, because I know he was going to do 1 per fiscal
Yeah,
year.
I don't know what his number was when we talked about that.
But you think this one, this water main, wherever it is now that I can't even see
It's
it.
at the last item under water.
Annual water main replacements,
Mhm.
yes. And, well, he's added 100, so you think this is the Pleasant Street one for this year?
Yep.
I ride with a resident on the train every Thursday, and I get asked every Thursday. So at least I can let her know, oh yes, it's made its way through, progress.
It won't be progress till they break ground.
Well, it's gonna still get approved, but it's on the list. It's further along than it was last year.
No, I didn't write down specifically what streets.
That's okay. The third one, I'm sure, will come to me at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll give you a ring.
Yeah, don't call. I'll be sleeping. I hope.
Yeah, I hope so.
It's not
too.
guaranteed though.
No.
That's everything else.
Okay.
Good job. Thank you, John.
Yeah, thank you very much. So just to, so in the FY16 budget, I started updating the budget model this past weekend. I will probably take another run through this coming weekend at some point. Make sure we capture any of the items that came out of tonight's meeting and any other updated numbers that we've had. Once that's updated, I'll distribute it to the committee just for your personal review. So next meeting, which will be February, it may be worthwhile starting to kind of go back through some of the departments and having further discussions on some of the requests. For example, the big one I think is the police department. Keeps sticking out in my mind, etc. So I'll try to hash out a plan of attack for that. Okay. I know last year on the budget model, which I haven't updated yet, is having like an action list of things that we had to follow up on and what the dependencies were. So I'll try and put together one of those for this budget cycle so we can garner any questions.
Do you want to split the budgets up among at least the three of us so that you don't have to come up with them all by yourself? And I'd be happy to take a look at one or two of the budgets in the notes. It's entirely up to you.
I just pull all my notes together on a single day,
Okay.
and I mean the initial budget model update took me a few hours on Saturday, but once that first initial one is done,
It's easy
it's
roll it
fairly
out.
quick.
Okay.
Yeah. So I appreciate the offer, but I'm okay.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. It's my nature. Forgive me.
Hey, I can offer. I'm not going to force somebody myself
All
on
right.
something if they don't want.
If you want to write the town
No.
report, you can do that. I still haven't gotten to that.
Do you want me to take last year's and have at it?
Well, it's due. Was it due Monday? I think.
Yeah. Well,
So,
none of them are ever on time. I mean,
She said no exceptions this year.
yeah. Well,
I'll throw something together tomorrow. What's that?
She says that every year.
yeah. I was going to
That's
say.
true.
Okay, that's second offer.
I may actually just take the Word document from last
Oh,
year
sure,
and just change a
just
few
change
words
the
so it's not
names.
plagiarism.
Because you know everybody reads it.
I know. Anything else for the budget?
It's not
Just for
plagiarism
tonight.
if you take your own document.
Yeah, and I didn't. I don't think I copyrighted it.
No.
All right. Non-union compensation study is our next item. So personnel board was supposed to be Monday. That was actually canceled.
I was going to ask, and that was the only thing I didn't see that was actually canceled. Everything else was.
It was a really late cancellation. The reasoning was actually Lieutenant Gill was so busy with the storm preparations. He, A, didn't think he could make the meeting, and B, he said he hadn't looked at anything. So I gave him the blessing.
Blessing, yeah. No.
Yeah, it was something I didn't think of earlier in the morning, or I would have followed up with him directly. So we didn't meet, so there is not a lot of further movement on the personnel study. I did send out last week the financial impacts to the personnel board, the board of selectmen, and to the finance committee. I'm not sure if everyone's had a chance to look at it, but basically breaks down to two sets of numbers, and I touched upon this earlier. So when we look at what we got, two numbers from HRS. One was a proposed salary for each employee. The second one was a 75th percentile based upon the data that was received and calculated. And the initial assumption was that the proposed salaries should fall between that 75th percentile number range that we got from HRS. And we had 7 of the 9 positions did not do that.
Mm-hmm.
So we weren't really sure because HRS really wasn't answering our questions in a timely manner. So when I went and did the financial impacts, I actually did 2 looks. One was using only the proposed numbers from HRS. The second one was including the combination. So if an employee had a proposed number that wasn't within that 75th percentile, we used the lower number of the 75th percentile range because most of them ended up being on the low end. So on the proposed only, so this would be taking the study as an FY13 base and kind of graduating the employees as if this was implemented in FY13. So for FY14, they would get steps in COLA, and it would be the greater of either the current grid or the new grid. If an employee was stepped out on the old grid and got repositioned for steps on the new grid, they would receive steps for those years. getting them to an FY15 salary, and then that will be used as we kind of work on the FY16 budget. So the non-union employees that are still technically quote-unquote on the grid, which does include our two elected positions, the impact on the proposed only is about $25,000.
How many
Yeah.
employees is that?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 12 employees, including the elected officials. And the non-union employees, which are on personal service contracts, which we're not sure if the Board of Selectmen will revisit those contracts at all, is an additional $22,000. So for a net of approximately $47,000 for the proposed only. Comparing that to kind of the hybrid that we looked at is the non-union employees on the grid only would be about $46,000 to implement. And then the personal service contracts would be $52,000, and majority of that, to be honest, is actually directly within the town administrator role. So that's what was sent out for the information which you folks received last week. The only thing that has changed, even though we didn't meet, was Monday we did receive an answer from HRS, and this has not been discussed or vetted by the personnel board, but the differential between the proposed versus the 75th percentile was they were taking into account, and forgive me if I'm not stating this correctly, because it wasn't the most clear-cut answer, that they are looking at the position individually. So, for example, we'll use the town administrator. So the town administrator, even though the 75th percentile sits much higher based upon the communities, the duties of this town administrator is actually below that, so therefore it builds into their proposed number. That's the way I interpret it, and that's what the personnel board will be discussing at our next meeting.
Gotcha. And it sounds like 2013 was the base year data, if I was reading
Yes.
this correctly, and you built it up. I understand how you did that. The memo was very helpful. I was able to follow what you did. The one question I had coming out of it for the town accountant or the assistant town administrator / secretary, whatever we call that position now.
Assistant town administrator is the official title.
Is that what it is?
Yes, it is.
Her. I know from looking at budgets, they both have actual stipends or proposed stipends. Are those factored into this? For
No,
example,
they're
the
not.
munis stipend?
No, they're actually not. We
It's
didn't
straight
take into account
paycheck.
any, we did. The study was stripped down to simply looking at wages. So it doesn't include longevity. It does not include any college incentives.
Okay.
And also does not include any additional stipends for things like munis, bonding, the planning board, which was proposed to us last week.
Zoning.
Zoning, yes,
Yeah.
sorry, zoning.
Planning's out there.
I don't want to touch either. Okay.
Well, zoning made sense, but it had a cost factor.
Mhm.
But they need it. I mean, they need the support staff, and it's going to be run out of the selectman's office.
So, yeah, the Board of Selectmen Assistant Town Administrator, we do need some further clarification on that because the Board of Selectmen Secretary is in the study, but the
position no longer
officially
exists.
yeah, and that's what. So Robert finally clarified that for us last week and sent a memo. So we are going to discuss that at our meeting next week. So those are the impacts. Like I said, we have the email that we got from HRS, the answer that we'll discuss at our next meeting, and from there we'll come up with our final. We're still trying. We originally were trying to stick to a goal to finish the study this week. The hope was we'd meet Monday, we'd finalize our methodology on the financial impacts, and then at the end of this week we'd kind of be at a stopping point. We could meet Wednesday, put the final package together, which will be the study itself, the updated job descriptions, and the financial impacts, and send that off to the Board of Selectmen. But we're going to be behind about a week and a half of where we have, but there's some time baked in.
Now, I have not had a chance to read what you sent, but from what you've said here tonight, the potential, if town meeting approves the plan presented to them, is an increase of 47,000 up to 98.
Correct. Potential.
Potential.
There's a lot of, for example, on the personal service contract, the question remains whether or not the Board of Selectmen would go back and reopen those contracts.
If they have the opener in them, yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So that's all part of the I guess to be seen, if you will. Like I said, I mean, my interpretation of the email was that the proposed is the number we should be using. So.
Because that's more individualized.
Correct. Yeah.
As opposed to just taking a market survey and applying a percentage.
It's more customized to the roles as they play in the town right now.
Which makes more sense.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
My
Up
pleasure.
to page 6 of my notes here, so.
Only 6?
Well, I write big, it's scribble.
Okay. Old business right now we have none. Mail. I haven't checked the mailbox in a week or so. Sorry.
So there's none. Good. Minutes postponed.
Minutes, we're going to do those at the next meeting. 5-year budget model, someday, way, shape, or form, we'll get that out there. I was trying to I put that on there, trying to get for the January regional leadership meeting, which was supposed to be looking at everyone's 5-year budget, but I don't think that's going to happen, since everyone's in the middle of our own budgets and the way the regional school district budget came out. Committee updates. John, you updated us on capital. Do you have anything for a building?
No, we haven't met since we all last updated.
Okay. And for me, executive buy board was originally scheduled for tomorrow. That's actually been postponed because it was not posted due to the storm. Regional leadership, I have not heard anything for an updated meeting on that. And personnel board, I gave you my 2 cents on that. Next upcoming schedule for us, we are back to our normal schedule. So February 11th is our next scheduled meeting. We'll discuss the budget. We'll start looking at departments and making some, I guess, decisions on recommendation. We'll also look at any updated change numbers. For example, if we have the health insurance, et cetera, make sure we call those out in the meeting. Anything else for the budget that we want to include for next week? Trying to think if we're missing, because capital's complete.
Capital's
We
complete.
have that distributed.
Just the health insurance, what was the other one that was pending?
I think the insurance numbers are all pending also.
Yep.
It's the other, I think the other.
Yeah,
big one.
That's
all
right,
of
from
the-
Robert's
all of the
area.
life, health, liability, all those things are,
Okay.
not life, I'm sorry, health, liability, workers' comp, unemployment, all those things are.
I guess we just have to schedule the schools to come in at some point.
So you mentioned, when's that?
I had it down as February 10th, there was going to be some kind of public hearing for the school budget. And it's my understanding that Mr. Kotz resigned, so we might want to get them in sooner rather than later since he's
Who
there.
was that?
Evan Kotz.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I haven't asked anyone in the school committee directly. I'd had someone send me a note saying, hey, did you hear? So that's the validity of it.
I heard the same thing.
Did you?
Someone asked me.
So, and he kind of owns that process there, so I think we'd like to see it when he's still here, hopefully.
Okay.
Wow.
Do we want, so I guess the question is, do we want to try and get them in for the 11th, or do you want to try and get them in, what's the 2 weeks, the 25th would be the meeting after that?
They need to certify by what, March something with
That
Shirley?
was the end of March, middle of March, the 15th, I have it in.
Week of the 5th, I think the week of the
It's in
15th,
the
they
other
have to
folder.
certify.
Yeah, I thought it was mid-March, based on
Because
April
Shirley Town meeting is like April
20,
20th,
something like that.
22nd, maybe.
And it's gonna be 6 weeks before, 45 days before,
Yeah.
7 weeks.
Yeah, let me see. Sorry, just checking the
That's
calendar
I
for
have-
April.
I have all that in the other folder, not the regular meeting folder.
Might be the 27th.
Something tells me it's the 27th, and I don't know why.
Yeah, because I think the town elections are the 21st. Actually, Actually, no, I think it might be the 20th, because they were moving it before the election. So, anyway, so late April, sorry.
So maybe we should have them in the first meeting in February then, if they can make it.
All right, you want me to request that for February 11th?
Yeah, I don't think the agenda's too fat yet.
Okay.
Depends on how many large budgets we throw on the 11th.
Well, we can always,
School committee could
Well-
take a while.
yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, we can always when we go through the budget review, again, we can parcel it in, we can do it in sections if we want.
There may be some that we don't
yeah.
need to, for
We can
instance,
we can put it up
library.
on the Mondo board, and we can just go each section by section, and wherever we feel we're at a stopping point for that evening, we can stop and we can pick it back up at the
I mean,
next
there are
time.
definitely some we don't need to.
Yeah, I'd like to give the department heads just a heads up
Oh,
that,
sure.
you know, we're going to be discussing.
We're going to be doing it,
yeah.
so, yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'll get some invitations off to the school committee for the 11th. And I think I should be able to have to do the non-union comp study again. All right. That's all I have. I'll open it up to the committee members for anything that they have this evening.
Nothing?
No?
Nope.
Anyone in the audience? No. You're a pseudo Mary Spinner tonight.
No, you're not.
You haven't given us enough commentary.
Well, what did I tell you? Oh, yeah, Cindy says that every year.
All right, and with that, I will take a motion to adjourn at 8:57 p.m. So moved.
Second.
Turn it. Oh, sorry.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Stephanie.